Pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. So if there's some stuff you do want to ask me, don't hesitate. And then if not, we'll kind of just play it now. I'll let you know as I see things happen.
All right. I know for sure I definitely want from my edge guarding because
Sure.
for some reason that part of the game is kind of giving me a little bit of trouble.
Okay.
Kind of
Yeah,
sucks. Yeah.
we can
Pika.
work on that, no problem. I'll send you the Discord info real quick, or not Discord, the room info real quick, then you can join. So with Pikachu, what is it about edge guarding that you feel like is giving you a lot of trouble?
Um, when I'm learning, when I was at least like taking the game extremely seriously, I was learning like to cut out a lot of like big risky habits, which I still have a few.
Okay.
So I ended up just kind of leaning towards ledge trapping for
Okay.
just regularly because I could always like resort to getting stage back, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I
Well,
guess that's where I was mentally.
here's what we can do. I've got the random stage switch set. I'm gonna start as Wolf, nice simple top tier, really vulnerable off stage if you're really good about it. I want to play some games with this, see how you go from there, and then we can progress on that. And I'm happy to play the Olimar later on and stuff like that.
Perfect.
So yeah, I get what you're saying about the ledge trapping thing. You're just not going out there, and I feel like with Pikachu you can. There's a difference between going for like a really bombastic style of commitment, like a thunder, right, or like a really deep thing, compared to maybe going out there shooting a T-Jolt, going out there clipping with a back air, clipping with a neutral air, not neutral air, forward air, or something like that, and just knocking them out of what they're doing. Because with characters like Wolf, are more susceptible ones who have like that set distance up Bs. Sometimes just like knocking them out of it and even trading is more beneficial, right? Like you can ledge trap, sure,
Okay.
but if you're fighting someone who's a lot more experienced with like a Wolf, for example, at the ledge, they're not gonna fall for that stuff as easily. Whereas when they're off stage, they're vulnerable. So this next game, like, don't hesitate to go get yourself out of that comfort zone. And if you fuck up, it's fine because we can discuss why it didn't work and try and find a happy middle ground.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean by hesitate.
Yeah, right. So I thought
I'm
that
very.
was.
I just feel very.
Go on.
I'm just very risk averse. I don't know. I just feel like I'll get fucked up off stage if I off.
You got fucked up on stage, so it didn't change much, did it?
Strap.
You know, like if you. All right, so
Yeah,
there's a line of thinking you can take, and it's something that I'll do sometimes, right? Like I'm a very advantage a heavy Olimar, and I like to push my advantage, get big kills and stuff. But I've lost a lot of sets in my day because I feel the need to go out there and go, really deep for something and take that big risk. And that's what it is. It is a risk. Sometimes it doesn't work. But there's also a lot of times, and something I've developed a lot more intentionally over the last year and a half, is identifying when it's okay to play in that very safe way. So, like, maybe I'll be fighting someone in a bracket match, and I'll get, like, 2 purple Pikmin, right? And I'll be like, okay, I have a really strong, like, lineup right now. I can play very safe and make it, I'm confident in my ability to extend that quote-unquote neutral game or get very light punishes and let resets happen because I know I can win those, right? But there are times where, like, I'll give you an example. So I was fighting Chag at MSN this last weekend. And I'm down an entire stock against him. It's 2-1, right? I get a quick kill. And then on his last stock, I'm at like 20-something%. He's coming down. I'm like, I got to get my 2 purples. I pluck my second one. He gets me to like 80% before I even touch him, right? But then I get back on stage. I have my 2 purples. I'm like, all right, I can win this. So the majority of that stock leading up is going for like reads, pressuring, or not reads, but like pressuring, going for like educated guesses of how I want to make him go somewhere. I'm not throwing my purples willy-nilly, like I'm throwing them at him to pressure him, right? I'm keeping it safe. It's hard to deal with. And then towards the end, I get him in a good spot where, I start like pushing him towards the edge of the stage. I hit him with like a purple side B at like 90 off, and it knocks him off stage, right? And then I run off, and then I throw my next purple side B, and it kills him. So that was a risk, because if it didn't work, I had not only thrown myself off stage, but I have also eliminated one of my purple, or both my purples, I don't remember exactly. I've given up my advantage with those specific lineups in a game 3 of a set where I could have lost, right, and been out of the tournament. But I took that risk, and that's something that you have to be comfortable with. So it is okay to be kind of risk aversive in your playstyle, but you need to identify why you're doing that. Are you confident when you're not taking risk? Like, do you feel in control when you're playing the neutral or something like that? Because if you don't, if you're still getting slapped up, well, what's the pain in taking the risk? You have to really understand yourself as a player and go, why or why not am I doing something? And I think in a session like this or in friendlies, it's that time to get out of that comfort zone, because you need to have as much understanding of yourself as a player and of your matchups as possible.
Got it.
Oh, something else I'm
Hmm.
noticing
Okay.
is I feel like you tend to get into these two things. Sometimes you'll be really predictable with how you want to pressure. Like it'll be like, right, I'm at maybe like a higher kill percent. It's like, okay, you want to dash attack or you want to run up down tilt, and there's very little like mix up in that. And you see, like I'll just hold shield at like that mid range, and I end up living. So I think you might get a little bit more out of, you could try and quick attack in more often. You could try using some of those T jolts to set up like a little bit of an approach. Yeah, I can reflect them or whatever, but you can, sometimes play around that. Sometimes falling on me with aerials, like trying to do down air, trying to poke with forward air. You're catching my full hops with forward air more, but like, this could be a byproduct of you not being the most comfortable in the edge guarding. But it feels like a lot of your kills are just like more stray things that work out. It's like, oh, I caught him with an air, now I can drag down, down smash, or oh, I got him with a good dash attack finally, or like a rare thing there. And another thing is, I feel like with Wolf specifically right now, you're not respecting certain buttons as much as you should. Like I'll forward smash your shield, and then you'll be like, all right, let me try and up smash your shield grab, and then I'm down smashing you, right? Because there's pushback. Or I dropped a space nair on your shield, and you were like, oh, let me try and back air nair it out of shield. It's like that doesn't work, right? Like this move is pretty safe, and I'm spacing it in a way to where you're just not gonna be able to catch me in time. So recognizing where your opponent's gonna be, and try to not focus solely on yourself, but instead let your opponent influence what you do, so that you're going for more appropriate options instead of kind of just getting into a type of autopilot where you just go, oh, I got hit, I do this.
I see what you mean. I also don't feel like you're respecting my off. That's because
No, I'm not respecting you.
off stage specifically.
I literally am not respecting you. Oh, my bad.
Oh.
I definitely turned this off, but it's like my lack of respect, I guess you could call it, for you isn't some like there are things I respect. I will definitely, when you're hitting me with your combos, like your back airs and stuff, I'll make sure to DI away and try and get out of there ASAP and respect those things, or I understand that. But I also know that when we're getting into the kind of meat and potatoes of it, like I'm probably going to have an easier time getting in your head as opposed to you to me. So I don't mind kind of taking it slow. And I also just play in a really jank way. Like, yeah, my Wolf is not the traditional Wolf. I like to throw out a lot of cheesy kill moves, but like, I'm an Olimar player, so that's kind of just par for the course. But that doesn't make the fact that you're getting hit by them doesn't make them any less valid, right? Because it's still like, okay, well, he's hitting me with this because I'm being maybe a little bit too tunnel visioned in certain aspects of the game. Power grab. Ooh. Nice.
Okay, that was a little bit better.
Yeah, that
Like
was
more confident in covering 1 or 2 options.
that's
what it
good.
is.
That's good. I noticed that risk aversion tends to lend itself to your neutral game as well. And this might sound a little contradictory, it's not meant to that, but like you're not getting a lot of like big combos, right? Like you're not finishing them with like a down air per se. I know there's some weird stuff you can do with that. You're not really getting any thunder combos, maybe off up down stuff. I don't know. That's maybe a byproduct of Wi-Fi and you feeling not the most comfortable. But if you are going to play a lot more of that like hit and run or like land straight dash attacks to get your kills or straight smash attacks instead of like the nair drag downs or something, you need to be very comfortable with playing that edge guard game. So that'll kind of go hand in hand. But if you can work in both to be really effective, you know, that's what someone like Esam is so good at, is that he's really destructive no matter how he touches you. That can boost your overall game plan. And I imagine you know some of your setups and stuff like that. So don't be afraid to try those out and just understand why they work. Like if they don't work, maybe I'm DIing it or maybe I'm playing around it, but then you can try other stuff. You were so scared. I could feel how, like, terrified you were right as we're going through that. And at the end there especially, you started kind of just not doing much of anything, and I think you were so worried about, like, okay, I gotta not get hit, and then maybe if I get an opening and reset, I can try that. But you had a really good lead in the beginning, and I think you were playing it really strong. It just ended up, I got a really good sequence that second stock where I kind of kept you in disadvantage for a while, and you had a hard time getting past me. You could have tried even, dropping down from legend, just forcefully coming in with quick attack, and just being like, hey, let me get past you and get, like, center stage real quick, and hoping I'm not good enough for that. Like, I don't prepare for that. But when I rinse and repeat like that, and I get a stock, it's gonna happen. Everyone has those moments. What you want to do is maybe on that next stock coming down, really try and compose yourself, think about how you lost that stock, why you were in disadvantage for so long, things like that. Identify where you went wrong. And then instead, next time be like, okay, so he's at kill percent, but I can't force it. It's okay to take it slow. Let's play a little bit more of that normal neutral. We don't got to commit too much. Make it hard for me to get in. See if I overcommit, and then you can get a kill. No, and then you can get a kill, excuse me.
What you're saying, like, last game, was like, I have to be, like, I don't want to say less risk averse, but the way I kind of interpret that is I'm a very loud, outgoing person that kind of, at least when I'm playing well, that reflects my play style. I like getting to a rhythm.
Yeah.
I like playing a lot with advantage state and stuff like that. And so that first stock, I kind of just got in my, I don't say got in my head, but I started playing to my strengths and like just pushing my advantage,
Yeah, we're doing it
fantastically. The second you
fantastically.
stop that momentum, it kind of just crumbled.
It's hard. It's hard to
So I'm a very momentum.
maintain that, and that's. Sorry, go on.
It was just like I feel kind of unstoppable. Like that first stock, like I feel like I can, and I do play some good players. Like,
Yeah.
or when I wasn't like trying to prove, and it's just that I don't know. I don't know how to keep that up. That's like
So
the question.
that momentum will be taken away. Like you can't always keep that, because I'm very much a player that can run with momentum as well. But in that, like I was saying earlier, this is why you need to reinforce the kind of core gameplay, right? Like not when you're at your high, but your base, so that you understand when you lose that or things slow down or you get hit with something like you're not expecting, like that second stock. You can come down and rebuild that momentum, or play in a way that doesn't even have momentum per se, but you're already at such a large advantage that you don't need to win multiple interactions. You just need to win one or two good ones and recognize that. That's different than just coming down and fishing for a dash attack up smash, but instead of going, all right, let's play like how I was earlier. We'll wait for an opening, but this time if I get an opening, I can kill. And that type of stuff is going to make a big difference for you.
When you go for reads with Olimar, do you say like, okay, he's been doing this option a lot, I'm gonna punish with an up smash or down smash, or is it more instinctual?
It's a bit of both. There is a lot of like, okay, they've done this option so many times, or they haven't done this, but it's also, how do I think they're going to respond to my information? So when I throw a Pikmin or I do an attack, how do I think they're going to do it? And that's based off of like me recognizing this happening with so many players over years. So like, when I have like two purples, right, and I run up to somebody and I read they're going to shield and then I break their shield with a down smash, that's me taking an educated guess. It's not a 100% certainty, but it is me thinking back to what they do. And some players don't do that, so then I'll keep that in mind, right, and I'll try and do other things. But it's all about punishing, their quote-unquote understanding of the game and saying, hey, no, you don't actually know what you're doing. I'm one step ahead of you. And that's the difficulty of it, but it's constantly influenced by whatever I'm doing to them and seeing how they respond.
Because whenever I go for reads, like that up smash I got on your roll, it's just like, I don't really think about, which is kind of a bad thing and a good thing, because it means that I'm like subconsciously paying attention to you.
Yeah, so
it's like
that's not an uncommon thing. A lot of players don't think in the traditional sense. It's not like a conscious effort a lot of the time.
It's a feel.
So what you need to start doing, and this is something I teach all my students, is learn to identify the game as it happens. And I find the easiest way to start with that is every time you're hit, or every time you lose a stock or a game, you can start big and kind of whittle it down as you need to. You need to work on clearly identifying why that happened, why your game plan didn't work, why you were hit, right? So if I two frame your up B or something to the ledge like a forward tilt, you need to go, okay, so I got two frame there. Well, maybe I could have recovered a different way. All right, that's one option. Or if you got in a spot where there's no answer, you go one step back and go, okay, well, why did I get there in the first place? Why did I get knocked off stage? And you try and identify that. And the better you get at that, it's very difficult to do for a lot of people initially, but the better you get at that, then you can start identifying it mid-game. So you'll get hit and you go, oh, I got hit because I dash attacked there and I shouldn't have. Instead of brushing off what happened and saying, "Oh, I got hit," you instead acknowledge the mistake, acknowledge the situation if it was something you weren't ready for, and you can recommend a fix for next time, or you can try to play around it next time. And because you're doing that, you're thinking so much more consciously in the game that you're able to break that autopilot, that tunnel vision, and reach in there and go, okay, this is the game state, this is what's happening, I'm really in control right now. And that type of stuff takes a noticeable amount of effort to do, but it's important. Give me 1 sec, I gotta go grab my charging cord. I just noticed my control's on low battery, and then we'll keep playing.
Sure. Do you mind going Olimar after this?
Alright, so I'm actually gonna swap to Olimar right now. I just want to give someone that I'm very comfortable with. And it's you know, I want to take away what little kind of advantage you might have had from Wolf being vulnerable in certain areas. I don't want to say you do it here, and it's fine if it's hard or it's great if you win or whatever, but let's just do what I was talking about, really try and think about what you're doing. Just go for advantage, disadvantage, but identify what's happening in the game so that you can try and build off of that.
Alright, I'm gonna mute and put my music on, see if I can focus better.
Sure.
All right, so I'm trying really hard to swap up my rhythm
Yeah.
and try and make some more dash grabs, more confident with my approaches, kind of almost with like just say it with your chest kind of mentality with your options. But it's like some shit's just not working. I'm gonna
So
assume that's just a matchup experience.
yeah, so that is one of the things. Like, if you're not familiar with Olimar, it is really brutal to fight a good one, because you'll try things and then they just don't work. Like, you threw a T-Jolt, I block it, and then I hit you for coming in thinking it was gonna hit me. You hit me, I'm SDIing on top of the fact that I'm light, on top of the fact that I have a Pikmin on you. Your combos are ruined. Like, so you have to, the goal there is to try and put me off stage right in the air and keep it going, but even then it's not really easy. One big thing I will notice is that, unlike Wolf, Olimar's shield pressure is definitely not as dominant in some ways. So when I'm up smashing your shield, when I'm jabbing your shield and things like that, there's a good chance you can get away with doing an aerial out of shield, like a back air if your back's to me, potentially a rising nair, just something to get off of me like that. Grab, you gotta be a little careful with, because that is slower. That's like usually frame 10. I believe Pika has a frame 6 one, but I think that would be a big thing as well, right? I shouldn't be hitting your shield for free. You definitely tried to mix it up in there, and I was seeing that in terms of general rhythm, but it's there is a lot of uncertainty I saw, so I think playing some more games there will help. But if anything, like, think back to your character's strengths at the end. What is Pikachu good at? Frame data. What can you do? Out of shield options. You didn't do them at all. You need to, understand what your character's abilities are. Like, it's not just, oh, a really good advantage and you're really quick. It's, oh, I'm hard to pin down. I'm able to outspeed most characters in terms of actual attacks. I can do a lot, to play to those strengths. So there is going to be a steep learning curve in learning this matchup, but I don't expect you to get it down at like that, even potentially in this session, because there's so much. But just keep that in mind as we go through the games and really try and understand where I'm swinging, because a lot of my attacks aren't as free as they might seem to be.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go!
So I felt like you were noticing some better there, but you're still not totally comfortable with what's happening. And Wi-Fi is going to contribute to that some, right? Like, you might not be able to react perfectly in time and stuff like that. I did like some of your out of shield options more going for those back airs. You had a really good stock where you kept me off stage a ton. And I ended up getting back, but I mean, that's kind of how it is. You're fighting, arguably the best Olimar out there, so I'm not going to die easily. But you did keep me out there a bit and get the percent, and that's what you really want to do in a matchup like this. I did to end up taking a risk, right? Like you saw, I went and I threw the purple off stage, like into the wall to try and, you know, catch you, but you recovered well, and then you ended up reversing me. And that's part of what I was talking about way earlier about the risk thing. Like, I took that risk because I was in a healthy spot, and I was fine with that. But so while up close, your out of shield game is very strong. Far away at like tip or F smash range, you definitely can't be just like doing whatever you want, because that's where my move is a lot safer. Partly because of frame data, but partly because of distance, right? Like, you just can't cover that distance fast enough by the time I can either get out of there or throw another attack a lot of the time. So sometimes waiting a second, holding shield, your shield's not going to break from that far. Retreating if you need to, like just roll away or jump away, can be really good. You don't always get a punish there, is smart. And then also, shoot, what was I going to say? There's times where you're getting hit, and I think it might be you trying to tech or something on Wi-Fi, or you're just unsure, but you tend to panic, air dodge, and things like that, or panic.
Yeah, I keep trying to tech, and I can't, like, tech roll.
Gotcha.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that would explain it, because, yeah.
Figure out some out.
The panic air dodges, or the accidental air dodges from tech are definitely brutal, because you see I'll just wait, and then F smash or something, you die really easily. So it's tough, but, you know, if you can get that down, that'll help a lot as well. So I wouldn't beat yourself too much over that if you know what you want to do, but you're just not able to get it out because of the format we're playing in.
Yeah, I was practicing with K Bill, I think it was, or some Omar, and I had Prospect watching, and he was like telling me, he's like, the one thing you don't want to do in this matchup is scrap. It's like at that tip or F smash range.
Yeah.
Kind of fuck.
Yeah, it's kind of
find a way to get in without.
It's kind of like you were saying, you can play up close really well, but that like mid-range-ish, that's Olimar's like prime zone. He does have good boxing options too, but you're Pikachu, so you have also very strong boxing options and aerials and things like that. So that's why sometimes using aerial moves can come and help a lot. Quick attacking in, right, like you were doing against Wolf and stuff like that. It's not a perfect solution, but it's one you can do as well. This is a matchup that I've actually done a lot of work developing myself, so that I wouldn't lose to other top Pikachus. So in that time, I've tried to develop a really frustrating zone to give it to you. But it's more so not, oh, I'm going to get in a lot, but when I get in, how do I make the most out of it as the Pikachu? Watch out, I have that blue in front. You don't want to be grabbing like that, or you don't want to be shielding like that.
Yeah.
Definitely better
I
in some ways.
think I figured out what I'm missing.
What's that?
I'm playing to your character strengths. Because I'm like,
That's one way to look at it. Yeah.
Because I was going in through my head. I'm like, why does it feel like I have to work 10 times harder than him to get kills, to get this and the other thing? It's like,
Yeah.
because I'm scrapping. It's like I need to find a way to it's weird because it's very antithetical to the way I play. Because
Yeah.
I love getting in, I love doing this. But if I'm at that like scrapping distance where you're at F smash, where I like all my mix-ups,
Yeah.
it's like I either get up smash or F smash.
There will
or
be
grabbed. So it's like,
times where you just have to bite the bullet and go, I have to play this matchup in a really frustrating way, or a really lame way, or a really unfun way. And it's a means to an end, right? Like, you win there, and then you can go have more enjoyable time later on. Because, I mean, when you have a game with 80-plus characters, you're bound to have that happen. But, yeah, I think that's a good point, and it's what I was talking about earlier, where, like, you need to... It's not so much about getting in constantly, it's about making those singular interaction wins stretch, right? Knock me off stage, put me in the air, get damage. That's my weak area. That's your character strength playing to that. And at the end of the day, you are going to have a tough time in this matchup. It's not free at all, right? Like, I kill so easily, and you're very light. But I think that's a good way to look at it. Really, identify where you can play to your strengths, and then put me in a bad spot.
I feel like I have to play a footsie's like mid-range game because
Yeah. Also,
I can't stay super far away because that thing.
yeah.
And I can't stay super up close because you have your up close options with up smash, F smash.
So like you can stay
grab, all that shit.
really up close, but it's that's where you're more in control. It's like slightly
right here.
outside. Yeah, that's the awkward range. So that's why you want to try and close the gap with different moves. Dash attack can catch me off guard, quick attack can get in things like that, reading me like that. Those are all really helpful. Another thing as well is I felt like you got rather antsy that second and then last game, and you were just kind of going for kill moves willy-nilly. And honestly, the dash attack you got me with simply because I tried to react, but it's Wi-Fi and I just can't do that. But it's like I knew you were gonna go for an attack. It was just, oh, maybe I can react and shield in time and then punish or something. But it's like you gotta not just like start mashing the down smash, the up smash, whatever it is. Because the more telegraphed you make that stuff, the easier it is for me to dodge it.
Well, I was trying to think of it as like I know he's gonna press, and I'm trying to make a big bombastic read, and kind of like you were saying. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just
You
do this.
can
and if it
go for
doesn't
those,
work, then-
but it took like 3 or 4 where it didn't work, right? Like before it finally did. And it's not like I was ready for those after the first one, especially. I'm at kill percent. I recognize that you want to kill me, so I'm gonna play in a way that where maybe I look, punishable, but I'm actually waiting, and then I can get you. So if you can land your hits, that's great. But just because I look quote unquote vulnerable doesn't mean I actually am.
I cannot punish that parry, can I?
Down smash? Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah.
You're probably just off from the timing. I mean, sour spot down smash is pretty good, so maybe not because of distance, but I want to say you'll be able to. Probably depends on what option you go for. I like the
Yeah.
attempt. I like the
Not
attempt.
the time for read.
I mean, it's not... I don't think it would have killed me even if it was, but... I get what you're going for, right? You're like, okay, I've got a really good spot too. I can go for it. And it's fine to try those things out in these types of sessions, so don't beat yourself up over it not working, right? Like I was saying earlier, I'm looking out for these things. If I can, I'm going to avoid it. I know when I'm getting back aired, my priority is get the fuck away from you, not try and do something real quick. That's what I'm gonna do, and I have a character that allows me to do that. So
I have to
definitely,
acknowledge that as a thing. I have to,
yeah,
and then I could go for something like even more greedy, like kind of wait you out and then go for a
Yeah.
super deep downer,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
cut you off guard. So I see what you mean.
All right, we'll do this as the last game, and then we'll wrap it up with some closing thoughts and stuff, right?
One, go!
Perfect. Oh.
T-Jolt there extended it, yeah.
Okay.
So it just kind of lingers.
I thought that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
So, a little bit of a rough game there at the end, but I don't think that was not necessarily you trying your things. It's just as we go through, we're both going to be adapting, and I'm just inclined to adapt faster and come up with, kind of more tricks that are going to catch you off guard. So, I think you still were making some pretty solid strides in the adjustment of things, trying to play to your character's strengths. And that's the big thing I want you to do moving forward when you're practicing with anybody, or even, playing in an area where the learning is kind of the focus of it. Get out of that comfort zone of yours. Like, it's okay to go for those risks. It's okay to try things, because if you don't, like in that exact moment at the last stock there, you made an assessment. It was incorrect. You learned from it. Now you know for next time, right? So okay, that is a possibility. If he F smashes into my T-Jolt, I can't just run it and grab. So you can go and build off of that and build a more encyclopedic knowledge of the game around your character. That's at least what I like to do as a solo main. I find it very helpful to build my understanding around what I play. And then, I obviously know regular things, but it helps me pull upon that information faster, because a lot of the times it's not going to be just straight reacting or straight guessing, but it's going to be more educated guesses and more educated assessments at any given moment, because you'll go, oh, I've been in this scenario. Oh, I know how Olimar goes when I up air him or back air him. I know where he can go. So ideally he goes to the spot I want, but maybe his DI will change it, so I have to be ready for that other thing. But it helps cut down on that processing power and helps keep you kind of fast-paced and let you do what you want. Another thing, and like I was saying earlier, that I really, really, really want you to work on is trying to catch yourself when you're making these mistakes, acknowledge them, exactly what went wrong on that plan, so you can fine-tune it as you're going through. And that's going to help you break that autopilot, and that's going to help you be more in control as a player and let your actual player skills shine, as opposed to your kind of just muscle memory going through. And it's something you'll phase in and out of. It's not like you're going to be thinking about every single interaction you do in the game, but instead it's going to be, oh, I need to be focused on what's happening right now, or I need to do this. I'll be ready. I'll be mentally present to do that.
Okay. Thank you so much for the coaching.
Yeah. Do you have any other last minute questions or anything?
Let's see. What should my general game plan go in? Because for Pikachu Olimar, because I'm thinking it's that mid-range kind of footsies outside your F smash, but not so far away that I'm getting hit by Pikmin.
You can
like that's
try to
my game
focus
plan.
on the Pikmin and stuff, or you can try and focus on that. I would instead pay more attention to like how are how can you get in? Maybe like focus on where Olimar is at. What is he doing? How can you eke in there? Because the biggest thing for you is not winning that neutral over and over again. It's making the most out of that advantage. You have to press your advantage so hard that it makes the interactions lopsided, because you're going to take so much passive damage that the Olimar is really good a lot of the time from side Bs and straight hits and stuff like that, that you're going to get into a kill percent.
Okay.
I think kind of.
Because I feel like you have the advantage in neutral a
Mhm.
lot. 'Cause I can't teach
I would say I do,
traditionally.
yeah. And it's okay to
which is
play
very
that.
uncomfortable.
You can mix in like a grounded game and an aerial game. You can use T-Jolts in some cases, especially on stages with platforms where you can send them at more differing angles, or you can have a little bit more protection. You can use those quick attacks to get in, right? Like maybe I jump inside B and you quick attack in and pop me up, or something like that. Because remember, without a purple, there's no knockback on that side B. So I think that stuff would help a lot. But it's okay to slow it down. Like, don't get super greedy with these kills. Just be like, oh, I grabbed him. Let's back him off stage. Let's put him into disadvantage. Let's focus on those strengths. And I think those will help a lot for you. But general game plan is kind of just like you're saying, a type of like mid-range footsie, but don't like lock yourself into I have to play this specific way, right? Like you can do really well up close, like right in close quarter combat range. And yeah, you can get camped out in like far range, but you also have a lot of mobility, so you can dodge stuff very well also. So it's not like you're gonna automatically lose if you go there.
Okay. I appreciate all the help.
Yeah, no problem. One last thing. One sec, actually. Oh, let me shoot.